Two suspected thieves have been arrested after allegedly stealing about $2,500 from Pepsi machines at swimming pools in the Villages. The Pepsi machines were raided at a number of locations between September 17th and October 26th at swimming pools in the Villages. The pools specifically identified in the arrest affidavits are located at Amelia, Alamanda, Bridgeport, Largo, Lynn Haven, and Sunset Point. The thieves are suspected of using a crowbar or screwdriver to break into the vending machines. The damage to the machines is estimated at $14,000. Michael Scott Boyd, 39, of Ocklawaha, was driving a 2007 GMC Sierra on Tuesday when he was stopped by Sumter County Sheriff's deputies. Traveling in the vehicle with him was 36-year-old John Edward Dyson Jr., also of Ocklawaha, who has a long criminal history of stealing money from machines and area car washes. Both men were taken into custody on drug charges. However, after questioning by detectives, the two men were linked to the numerous vending machines burglaries in the Villages. Boyd, who was already on probation, was being held without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. Dyson's bond was set at $96,500. The Sumter Landing Community Development District will need to adjust its budget by $600,000 due to sinkhole repairs. The costliest of the repairs has been at the pond drained this summer by 3 enormous sinkholes at the Moyer Recreation Center. The total cost of repairs there now stands at $295,000. Another expensive repair has taken place near the Pimlico Recreation Center. That project has cost about $250,000. District officials have previously indicated these types of losses cannot be reasonably covered by insurance. To pay for the repairs, the SLCDD Board of Supervisors will ask Monday to consider taking $600,000 from working capital. The SLCDD Board will formally consider the budget adjustment at its meeting set for 1:30 p.m. Monday at Seabreeze Recreation Center. A villager was tasered and taken into custody after a police pursuit began Wednesday night near the gate at the village of Marsh Bend. Jesse Ray Edgar, 69, was at the wheel of a red Ford Explorer and he was pursued at about 11 p.m. by Wildwood police down Marsh Bend Trail. The pursuit was initiated after Edgar fled an alleged altercation with his wife at their home on Messina Drive in the village of DeLuna. The officer had his emergency lights on and sirens activated, but Edgar disregarded them and kept driving, according to the arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. Police pursued this vehicle to US 301 and northbound Interstate 75 when Edgar finally stopped. An officer ordered him to the ground, but Edgar refused to comply. Edgar began walking backward in what looked like an attempt to re-enter his vehicle. The officer warned Edgar that he would be tasered. However, he continued to refuse to obey. The officer deployed his taser, but the impact did not stop Edgar. Another officer fired a stun gun at Edgar, which incapacitated him, the report said. Edgar admitted he had been aware that the police began pursuing him on Marsh Bend Trail. They tried to stop me, and I just kept on going. I was so dang mad. I didn't care, he said, according to the report. He said he finally stopped because he had enough time to cool down and think about the situation. Good Lord, Edgar. You're 69 years old, dude. Bond has been revoked after a pair of arrests in October of the adult daughter of a couple in the Villages. Stephanie Marie Romas, 41, was booked without bond this week at the Lake County Jail after she was arrested on a Sumter County bond revocation. Romas had been arrested October 19th after a fight with her father at her parents' home at 4124 Victory Lane in the village of Osceola Hills. They had been arguing when she slammed the door in his face and pushed him against the wall, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The altercation spilled over out into the driveway where it was witnessed by a neighbor. The New York native was arrested on a charge of battery but released the following day after posting a $2,000 bond. She was living on Fulcrum Place in the Whitney Villas in the village of Dunedin. The villa is owned by her parents. Mallory Square adult pool will be shut down for maintenance. Rohan Recreation Center and sports pool will be closed. Probably for maintenance there also. Getting ready for the snowbird attack. Remember last week I reported human trafficking, smuggling illegal immigrants to Florida. I believe there was a couple of people from Guatemala, one or two maybe from Mexico, and they caught them. Well, here we are this week with more. This open border thing, in my mind, is asinine, it's stupid, and it's causing problems for everybody, and it just doesn't make good common sense to me. A human smuggling suspect was nabbed in Sumter County with 3 people from Mexico who had apparently paid him for transport to Florida. A white Nissan Armada had been traveling southbound at about 2:30 p.m. Thursday on Interstate 75 near mile marker 310 at Bushnell when a vehicle was pulled over for illegally tinted windows. The driver, 23-year-old Esville Miguel Sato Perez, I'm probably saying that totally wrong, presented the trooper with a Mexican identification card. Sato Perez had on clean clothes and was wearing an unused construction-style orange vest. 3 passengers who were disheveled and unbathed were concealed in the second row of the vehicle behind a black window tint. The trooper spotted a large quantity of snack items and empty snack bags in the vehicle. The trooper believed the trio was being smuggled by the driver. Sato Perez had a large sum of U.S. currency, and there were several receipts for large currency transfers to Mexico. A cell phone was found facing the driver's seat. The phone had a GPS route set up with 35 miles to go. One of the passengers, a 29-year-old woman, admitted to illegally entering the United States 3 days earlier. She said she had been at a stash house in Juarez. A suspect has been arrested in a burglary at a medical office in the Villages. A representative of Avila Health Center at 1507 Buena Aires Boulevard contacted the Sumter County Sheriff's Office on October the 11th to report that a shed at the premises had been burglarized. It was caught on video surveillance camera. Dale Lynn Billings, 57 of Fruitland Park, has a long history of arrests on thefts and burglary charges, was considered a suspect in the burglary at the medical office. He was spotted at about 1:30 p.m. Thursday at Central Florida Dental Care at 13913 U.S. Highway 441. He was taken into custody on charges of burglary and theft. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $7,000 bond. Chula Vista Recreation Center and pool will be closed. Saturday softball game canceled due to inclement weather in the Villages. Silver Lake Recreation Center to be closed for maintenance. Yeah, we've had this week or last week, I can't remember, but there was 2 or 3 days where it rained like every day, a lot. And because when we get rain here, it's usually a deluge of rain. But also the weather turned cold here for about, I want to say like 3 days in a row, colder for this time of year than normal. UF Health announces a $2 million purchase of property in Summer Hill. Engineer to be paid $200 per hour to review architectural review applications in CDD 12. I don't know what that's all about. Villager ordered to pay $2,800 for vandalizing woman's golf cart in Brownwood. Let's go see what this crazy old duffer's done. A villager has been ordered to pay $2,800 in restitution for vandalizing a woman's golf cart parked in a handicapped parking spot at Brownwood Paddock Square. John Glevin Lawless, 62, who lives at 3918 East Torch Lake Drive in the village of Atrium Dells, was arrested April 1 at his home after keying the village of Santa Domingo's woman's golf cart on March 24. His golf cart had been captured on video surveillance at the scene of the crime. The Honolulu, Hawaii native was arrested on a charge of criminal mischief. Last month, Lawless was allowed to enter into a pre-trial intervention contract that will allow him to avoid prosecution if he lives up to the terms of the deal. He must pay restitution in the amount of $2,800 and enroll in an impulse control course. Never heard of that. Impulse control course. Sometimes I wonder if they're just not making this stuff up. He is also forbidden to have contact with the woman whose golf cart he vandalized. Band of Brothers of the Villages donates money to local food pantry. Villages Parrot Heads to hold Veterans Day blood drive at Station 44. El Santiago Recreation Center and Family Pool will be closed. Chatham Recreation Center and Family Pool to be shut down. Villager won't be prosecuted in unwanted visit to former boyfriend's home. A 67-year-old villager will not be prosecuted in an unwanted visit to her former boyfriend's home. The prosecutor's office has announced that no information will be filed in this case of 67-year-old Lori Ann Kingsbury, who lives on the historic side of the Villages. She had been arrested September 11th after an unwanted visit to the home of her former 71-year-old boyfriend in the village of Rio Ponderosa. The Olathe, Kansas native previously had shown up at the man's workplace, and he had texted her warning that the next time she made an unwanted appearance, law enforcement would be summoned. Kingsbury was arrested on a felony charge of battery on a person over the age of 65 due to her pushing past him in the doorway. However, the prosecutor's office has announced that no charge will be formally filed due to victim-witness issues. Every section of the Villages gets older. These problems that we look at up north going, oh, they got a problem up north. Well, when it gets down to the Lake Sumter area, when that area gets the average age of what they are, say, in the Spanish Springs area, those same problems are going to follow you down to the Lake Sumter. And then as my area gets older, those same problems that are now at Spanish Springs, Lake Sumter, they're going to be here with me. And as the Finney area gets older, the same problems here are going to be down there. I know everybody thinks that they're away from it. You're not. It's just a matter of time. The adult children causing problems, if people just don't quit doing this is going to be a serious problem here as this population gets bigger. And I don't like it when people say, well, that problem happens everywhere. I don't really care. I'm talking about here. This is a retirement community. New York City is not a retirement community. Indianapolis is not a retirement community. This is supposed to be, and I expect it to be treated like one. Total cost of First Responders Recreation Center comes in at $7.175 million. I believe that's a reduction in cost, actually. I believe they were estimating a little more than that, so it comes in a little bit cheaper than what they originally thought, if I remember right. Mulberry Grove Dog Park will be closed through December the 5th. Guest ID and trophies services will be available on Veterans Day. District Office releases information about trash pickup schedules for Veterans Day. Entries needed for upcoming Christmas parade in Lady Lake. A 32-year-old resident of the Villages has been jailed without bond after ducking a drug screening that was part of a probation sentence. Shane Allen Matic, who lives at 404 Hidalgo Drive in Villa de la Vista West, was being held this weekend at the Marion County Jail. The Pennsylvania native had been placed on probation for 1 year following his arrest this past May on drug charges of battery and trespassing. As part of the probationary sentence, Mastic has been ordered to submit to drug screening. However, on August 26th, he was in the lab waiting room for 5 to 6 minutes and then left without completing his screening. According to the affidavit of violation of probation on file with Marion County Court, he has also failed to pay $120 in court supervision fees. Mastic was also arrested along with his lady friend Villager in September 2020 after their vehicle was stopped for having a burned out headlights. It's amazing how all these druggies, drunks, criminals, and everything else, they always get pulled over for something stupid, like a burned out tail light, didn't use a turn signal, driving around with their headlights on bright, driving around at night with no headlights at all. Officials are expressing frustration after a painting company bailed on a contract in the Villages. A painting contract had been awarded on October 15, 2020 to Brace Integrated Services. However, prior to the the end of the contract on September 30th, 2023, Braze Integrated Services Incorporated was acquired by Brand Safeway under the parent name of Brand Industrial Services. The new company has indicated that it does not want to continue with this type of service, which is not under their core competency, as its main experience is in industrial coating and not commercial type painting services. The project-wide advisory committee will be turning to the second lowest bidder, Lester Painting, to set up and meet the needs of the district, which is for painting of villa and sign walls. PWAC Chairman Don Wiley at Monday's meeting expressed frustration that the company bailed out midway through the contract. A similar situation happened in 2019 with a landscaper who had a contract for work at Lake Sumter Landing. Why do the residents always end up in the short end of the stick when it comes to these contractors? Community Development District 7 Supervisor Steve Lapp, who serves as an alternate member of PWAC, suggested the body probably needs to take a hard look at the language in contracts and make sure those signing on a dotted line are held accountable. Brand Industrial Services will be barred from bidding on projects in the villages for 3.5 years. Okay, I had to take a little bit of a potty break. I know, who cares on the news, right?
Sorry, I don't understand.
She don't understand either. Beer of the day, Sam Adams. A $100,000 addition needed at $3 million Brownwood workshop. That's the new one they just built halfway down the golf cart path there, straight across the street from the Eisenhower Rec Center. Now they want another addition on it. I don't know what that's all about. Palo Alto woman with brass knuckles in brawl arrested with stolen car. These are the things I'm reading for you here. These are all people that live in the villages, in a neighborhood in the villages. Some of these people shouldn't be here. They're not retired. They're not elderly. This 55 rule that they've got here is wacky. I don't understand how it works. I just don't, because it's just goofy. Oh, yeah, what a sweetheart this is. I'm sorry. It looks like she's fresh out of prison to me. A Village of Palo Alto woman. Oh, Palo Alto. If I remember right, Palo Alto. Isn't that, please leave a comment below, those of you that live here that watch this. So isn't that where they had the big drug bust in Palo Alto? Somebody's daughter, granddaughter, whatever, moved in with him to help out, and then they were making drugs in the house and selling drugs in it. Then she invited 4 or 5 other guys to come live in this house with this poor old guy, and then they ended up having a drug bust. I think it was in Palo Alto. A Village of Palo Alto woman with brass knuckles tucked in her bra was arrested with stolen car. Melissa Tiffany Rose Harbor, 26 in a 55 plus community. Now you can argue all day long what the rules are, and this is legal. My question is why aren't these rules the same in other 55 plus communities? Please, somebody help me. And we're back after a short station identification. Melissa Tiffany Rose Harbor, 26, who lives at 1949 Palo Alto Avenue, was arrested at 4:42 a.m. Monday in Oxford, where a silver 2007 Lexus 350 was found parked, according to an arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The vehicle had a Tennessee license plate and had been reported as stolen to the Leesburg Police Department. As Harbor was being taken into custody, she admitted to deputies that she had a pair of brass knuckles concealed in her bra. Why would you feel like you needed those? She was arrested on charges of grand theft of a motor vehicle and carrying concealed weapons. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on an $11,000 bond. Harbor had been arrested in 2019 with a vehicle stolen out of Polk County. Here's a couple of mentions. A man with cocaine and loaded gun arrested near George Nihas Chevrolet on State Road 44. An official is calling for the developer to man up and fix an emotionally charged parking problem in the villages. Only one parking problem? Community Development District 12 Supervisor Andrew Billardello spoke out Tuesday morning on the frustrating parking problems at the popular Finney Putt and Play facility. Billardello, a resident of the village of Finney, expressed solidarity with the residents of the villages who want to use the Putt and Play but find themselves struggling with parking. He also expressed sympathy for the Putt and Play neighbors who have been ping-ponged back and forth between the CDD 12 board and the city of Wildwood, both of which have offered little relief. 4 men from Mexico who had paid for passage to Florida were found with a human smuggler in Sumter County. Gustavo Santiago Cruz, 37, who resides in Arcadia, Florida, was driving a white and blue Ford van towing a trailer at 3 p.m. Monday near mile marker 310 on Interstate 75. I believe mile marker 310 is down by Bushnell, and that's about the same place that they caught the other car with illegal immigrants in it. A Florida Highway Patrol trooper noticed the van had windows tinted beyond the legal limit. The van had a Florida license plate, and the trailer had a Michigan license plate. Cruz was traveling with his young son and daughter. 3 adult men were found concealed behind the second row seating of the van, the arrest report said. The men were disheveled and were wedged in with luggage and with belongings. The trooper asked if anyone was concealed with the luggage, and a 4th man revealed himself. 3 of the 4 men offered Mexican identification cards. All 4 men said they were traveling from Michigan to Florida. 3 of the men said that they had met Cruz in Michigan, and the 4th man said he had known Cruz for several years. Cruz charged each man $200 to transport to Florida and agreed to find them labor opportunities in the Sunshine State. The men indicated they do various types of field work. Cruz claimed he did not know the men's immigration status. Yeah, that's a lie. A search of his van turned up pay stubs for various men and women. He was arrested on 4 counts of human smuggling and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. His children were turned over to their grandparents. A hold on his custody was placed by Homeland Security. It's all a mess. It's all a mess. And I can't believe our common sense in this country says this is okay. It's not. Do you guys remember, it's been a while back, I didn't do the news or anything back then, but I did do a short video of Spanish Springs years ago, for any of you that watch any of the old videos at all, and I think it's still up. But I showed a police golf cart from, I believe, Lady Lake that was at Spanish Springs. It was parked up there at the time. In my life, I had never seen anything like that. Now, I know cops in big cities have bicycles and horses and stuff like that, but I'd never seen a golf cart. So when I first saw it, I really didn't take it very serious. I really didn't. Like in Spanish Springs, they call that the Fountain of Youth, where the water squirts out into a little pond. It's not a fountain of youth. Never has been a fountain of youth. It's just part of the decoration. But they do that up there. So when I saw the golf cart, that's what I'm thinking. This is something made up. You know, it's up here for looks, and that it was an official police vehicle, and it had all the mainstay and rights of any other police vehicle. And I often wondered why they didn't do more of that, like I say at Lake Sumter Landings, Brownwood. I've never seen any golf carts down there. Well, here's an article. The Wildwood Police Department is facing a delay in acquiring a golf cart for patrols in the village of Finney and other southern areas in the villages. The police department wants to add a golf cart to its fleet of vehicles, seeing the wisdom of using this type of vehicle to patrol the villages. It will likely be spring before the golf cart arrives, but I heard between 3 and 6 months. Well, here's another report on our little Miss Mommy's daughter. The adult daughter of a couple in the villages has been transferred to the jail in Sumter County, where she continues to be held without bond after a pair of arrests last month. Stephanie Marie Romaz, 41, was transferred Monday from the Lake County Jail to the Sumter Detention Center. Romaz had been arrested October 19th after a fight with her father at her parents' home at 4124 Victory Lane in the village of Osceola Hills. They had been arguing when she slammed the door in his face and pushed him against the wall. Okay, we've read all that before. She had been arrested October 9th at her parents' home after deputies were called to investigate a disturbance. A former resident of the villages was arrested after her last encounter with her mother. Amanda Burgess, 37, was arrested last week after coming in contact with her mother in defiance of a court order issued last month after an incident in which she broke her mother's finger, according to an arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. During the latest arrest, the Pennsylvania native was found to be in possession of cocaine and drug paraphernalia. Always. She was also arrested for violating the no contact order with her mother. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on $11,000. Burgess who previously lived with her mother in the village of Della Vista West, has a history of arrest. In 2014, Burgess and her mother were arrested at her mother's home in the Villages after a 10-year-old called 911. That is so sad for the 10-year-old. In 2016, Burgess had been working as a cashier at Kohl's in Lady Lake when she allegedly took $150 from the store's cash register. When questioned by police, Burgess said she knew what she was doing. She told police she was on the verge of losing her house to bankruptcy and needed food, so she decided to take money. In 2018, Burgess was out on bond when she was arrested on drug charges. See, all the excuses of I'm getting ready to lose my house, I'm hungry, I gotta buy food, my daughter needs to go see a doctor, my baby needs diapers, thousands and thousands of excuses, but it always boils down to one thing. Once it's investigated and the truth really comes out with all these living at home with mommy kids, drugs. That's what they need the money for. And there was no letters to the editor this week because every one of them that I saw that looked like it might be a little interesting for you to hear what other people living here have to say about certain matters, read like a book. Make it short and sweet, people. We don't have that many years left to read all your comments. So, that being said, I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you guys on the other side. And always remember, when you come to the Villages, and no matter what, you hear what's going on here, you hear the bad, you hear the good.
Don't leave your keys in the golf cart.